Call me old man Wade.
Damn you, old man!
Wait.
Old ass man.
Shut up, old man. You smell like fart.
No!
Old man.
He's so old, he got a podcast on cassette.
Fuck, you're old.
Damn it, Wade.
Yeah. Yo, can I tell you that I am officially done arguing and debating with people if it doesn't do anything for me at all?
I mean, I saw that. I mean, I get it. I mean, I don't know. It depends. Like, why are you debating with people? Like, what is your purpose? Like, when you say, I got a lot of questions about that. And when you say, unless you get something out of it, like, what do you mean? Like, you learn something, or like, what are you trying to get out of it?
If I can't monetize this for money or for the podcast, I don't care.
So debating people online, is that what you mean?
Oh, I mean online. I mean, a lot of times it's going to be in person. A lot of times it's going to be via text. I don't care.
So how do you, because I learn a lot when I debate people. Like, I learn a lot from that. You know what I mean? Like, I learn new perspectives. I think that's the biggest thing. Like, just getting new perspectives, even if I don't necessarily agree. And I feel like I get it, especially in today's climate and the way people, the way social media has kind of destroyed the concept of conversation in some ways. I get it, but at the same time, I'm like, man, that kind of sucks, because you kind of cut off a whole new whole set of perspectives that you could probably learn from debating. I think people tend to get upset when they debate. They might not feel like they're being listened to or whatever it may be. But again, that all goes to, why are you even having these conversations? Are you trying to convince somebody? Are you trying to prove that you're smart? Are you trying to prove that you're not dumb? Are you trying to just do it to troll? Or are you genuinely interested in having a back and forth dialogue with somebody?
Well, that's the thing. I am at a point where a lot of the times, when I say I'm never doing it again, I don't mean literally, but I am at a point now where I don't care enough about certain perspectives on things. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm done. I'm cool. Like, if I'm talking about a movie or something, cool. Like, I'll definitely have that debate on something. If someone's gonna say to me, well, R. Kelly didn't necessarily rape them, I'm gonna be like, yeah, I'm cool. You know what I mean?
Oh, you mean you're not having discussions with people that aren't in good faith, people that are just trying to say things provocative just to get a rise out of you?
I'm not having conversations with people who aren't worth my time anymore.
Okay, I get that. How do you determine that?
If I'm starting to do the Sherlock Holmes thing where he's like, the person will parry left, and then I will dodge, and then I will go do this, and I will go do that. I'm at a point right now where if I'm starting a conversation with somebody and I know it's gonna lead somewhere where I don't want it to lead, I don't care anymore. I'm like, I just don't really necessarily need to have this conversation when it comes to certain things. But it's also, I don't want to waste my time or someone else's time. For example, me and Just Greg, we were having a conversation. I forget what about over the weekend. And it wasn't anything serious. Like, it wasn't anything that was going to like ruin our friendship or any shit like that. But I think I knew that, like, yeah, we weren't going to agree on this particular conversation. So I was like, yeah, we can just agree to disagree. Like, you know what I mean? So like when shit like that, I'm actually looking for it now. Oh yeah, we were talking about academics on everyday struggle, which we'll get to later.
Yeah.
And he was saying how he goes, he's a different person. He's definitely a different person from his personality on everyday struggle. He was more tame and reserved on that show. On his platform, he's a loose cannon and sometimes says what people are scared to say out loud. I said, I just say this scared. He goes, I can't speak today. I go, I'll say this, scared to say it doesn't make it okay, but we can agree to disagree because I'm certain you don't. He goes, some things need to be said, especially if it's true. There's things that he says that are either didn't agree with or didn't know enough to have any opinion on. But I'm a firm believer in things being said if it's true and it doesn't get attention because it's scary territory. this society has gotten so soft it takes offense to everything. Now, I agree with 90% of what Greg said. I absolutely do. I do think that sometimes there are topics that need to be spoken on, and unfortunately, people are, as he said, too scared to say them. I do absolutely agree with that. I don't, but I also agree. I think the 10% I don't agree on is when he says this, everybody's too soft, and I don't even think he said everybody's too soft, but just that's just how my mind took it. So a lot of this like back and forth with people, it has nothing to do with the other person. It's me. Like I'm trying to take more responsibility for my emotions and how I present them to other people. Because Greg's feelings have nothing to do with me. Like, you know what I mean? He's not a bad person at all. He's one of my closest friends. He was one of my groomsmen. He's like, you know, he's my brother. So he's saying these things, and I'm just like, I'm not in a mental place to have a productive conversation where both sides are going to be heard. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm down the line. Me and Greg will have this conversation, and he'll probably listen to this. But like, I just knew, like, for me, I was like, yeah, I can't be in a place to have this conversation, so I just won't. But so when I say I'm not going to debate with people, a lot of it has to do with me. Like, I'm cool. I'm becoming self-aware. I'm turning into an android from Terminator. He's becoming self-aware.
This dude say that.
Welcome to the Old Man Wade Show. I am your host, the God of Stubborn, the Lord of Laughter, Old Man Wade. And across the pond, across the way, sitting in his throne, superior, Super Wogabi.
What up, everybody?
Yo, man, I love this. Can I tell you, this is the second or third week in a row that we've been recording on a regular schedule, and I fucking love it.
Yo, it's awesome.
Yeah, like we're back. We're back like cook crack, man. I really do appreciate it. Like, you know, we get the we start doing the docket ahead of time. I start building it as soon as news comes out. I send it to you. You send it back, and it's like, yo, it's the synergy, man. It's you know all the buzzwords that people use in companies.
Yeah, no, I like it, especially with our schedules. I mean, you're back at work. I'm friggin' busy all the time. And it's just, you know, managing. I think anything anybody does is like, you know, time management. I mean, nobody's perfect. Like, we suck. We both suck in our own ways at it. But at the same time, if you have something on the schedule, and you have a lot to do and you really care about something and you want to spend some time talking to your friend, schedule that joint.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be great. Now we got a BBN schedule, so that's going to be coming out every week. I think that I honestly feel that like next year we're either going to be nominated or we're going to win some awards next year for podcasting, even if it's just for Boston, even if it's just for nationwide or whatever. But I really do feel like we're going to win some shit next year.
Yeah, I'm looking at the light in your room, bro. I know this is a tangent. All you need is like 2 more lights and we are good for video as well. Like, I'm actually gonna, like, I'm looking at you right now. I'm like, oh, this can work actually.
Oh, so, this is funny. I have no lights on. This is just
no. It's all natural light. I could tell, but I'm saying if you just get 2 more lights, just to fill it in. Yo, I think Old Man Wade Show is gonna get back to video as well.
So let's get to the fun shit.
People need to know how the sausage is made.
We just talked about that last week. No one wants to know how the sausage is made
before they place that nice sausage in their mouth.
They love the sausage in their mouth.
Oh, I love sausage.
The love sausage from the boys. So yeah, apparently this has been a week of cheating.
Apparently.
Like, so first off, you want to get to
hot boy fall.
Hot boy fall. dumb nigga autumn. So let's get to the fun one before we get to the other one. So Adam Levine is cheating absolutely wrong, and I just had to make sure that I wrote it like that.
Who's he cheating on? I didn't care enough to look.
It was like on his longtime girlfriend or his wife or some shit, but allegedly, after I guess impregnated whoever he impregnated, he DM'd his side piece. It was like, oh, I'm naming my child after you because it's such a beautiful name. What's wrong with people?
Yo, people are friggin' nuts. Wow. You know, Adam Levine, honestly, I give him credit. Listen, you do something wrong, you stand behind that joint.
This led to a bunch of us making jokes about Adam Levine. Shout out to my homeboy Pat. He goes, I'm surprised Adam Levine is a story. This is who I thought he was.
He looks like the type.
And so then I went on to say Adam Levine looks like he picks up women at a random shitty bar during last call.
Wow. Nah. Are you serious? Nah.
Yeah.
Yo, he's pretty. You don't got to do that.
Yeah. So then I found a picture of him shirtless with all his tattoos, and I go, his tattoos look like a 12-year-old kid creating a pop star on a video game.
Yo, he looks like a fuckboy.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. What's the difference between a fuckboy and someone who goes and finds like drunk girls at the end of a bar on like last call?
I guess there's two different species of fuckboy. Like you got fuckboys that don't have to, like fuckboys that are just, they're naturally gifted. You know what I mean? They can just pick up women. They're attractive dudes. They got good personalities and all that stuff. They just, they're fuckboys. They have a lot of fuckboy behavior. And then you got fuckboys that are, they sweep the bottom of the barrel, so to speak. They don't have any of that, and they go they go by the numbers. It's the volume game for these guys. Like they just rejection, and then after their 30th, they might get something, and then those are the ones that wait at the end of the bar, last call.
Yo, but what's wrong with the waiting? What's wrong? Yo, so okay. So let me just say this: I've never been someone to pick up a woman at the bar. Only time that's ever happened was the relationship and marriage that I'm in now, and even then, I wasn't like hitting on her all night. It was like it just kind of happened like that. But I've never been that guy to like hit on a chick all night and be like, or hit on a bunch of multiple women. But what's wrong with playing a numbers game?
Nothing. I'm not. I didn't shoot. Did I seem like I was demeaning these guys? Nah.
No.
Do whatever you got to do, bro. Just don't be creepy.
Oh yeah. Yeah. But I don't know. I feel like sometimes the word fuckboy gets a bad term because most fuckboys are, fuckboys, I guess, for lack of a better term.
We got fuck women too. It's the human condition.
Yeah. Fuck humans.
For real.
Fucko sapiens.
Yo, listen. We all want to fuck. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
We might express it in different ways. Well, not all of us. Some of us, aren't really into it. Some people are asexual.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, at the end of the day, I think most people just want to get their rocks off. And then we live in a society where there's a lot of stigma and stuff associated with that. And so we end up creating all types of fuckery.
Fuckery. It's fuck boy Adam.
Mm-hmm.
So next up, we got the sad topic of Boston Celtics coach Ime Udoka being
sad. Is it sad?
It's sad whenever I see nasty behavior. It's sad.
Okay.
It's not sad because it's not as sad because it happened to him because fuck them. Like you do nasty shit, nasty shit should come back in return.
Yeah.
Allegedly, we don't know the whole story, but it came out that he cheated on his wife, Nia Long, which everyone goes, how do you cheat on Nia Long? Which isn't the big part of the story. Cheating is cheating, and it's, deplorable regardless. But there were a couple of things that made people really look into the story. One, he was fraternizing with a co-worker, and I believe it's someone on the Celtics staff or like someone that in their contract they're not supposed to be messing with.
Well, as a coach, that's that's technically an executive position, right? Like, that's a leadership position, that's a management position, and the whole organization, a lot of the organization, to some extent, kind of answer to you in some way or some form. So it's like any workplace situation. Like you should not be having relationships with people underneath you. Well, you know what I'm
saying. Yeah, I agree. But I will say this. You shouldn't be able to do it, but I also do believe that sometimes it's something that can be done well without showing favoritism. However, is it possible even subconsciously to not show favoritism? You know what I mean? Is that possible to not necessarily give somebody something and not realize you're doing it?
What do you mean? Say that one more time.
So let's say boss A is fucking subordinate B.
Yes.
And boss A could be the best person in the world and be completely perfect with, or as unbiased as possible with everything's going on. Yeah. But can we say that 100% this person won't subconsciously do something nice for subordinate B that they wouldn't do if they weren't together or in a relationship?
True. I mean, I think that's one situation. But I think in these cases, it's more subconsciously or consciously the subordinate feeling like they have to be in this relationship to keep their job or whatever it may be, right? Like that creates a conflict of interest. Um, at the end of the day, boss A shouldn't be fucking subordinate B, period.
Yeah, it's
Not in the workplace because I mean, it just creates, there's plenty of people out there that you can be having sex with. It doesn't, like, especially nowadays when we're aware of how these power dynamics work, you just don't do it.
there's also a there's also a thing about it. It's the optics as well.
Yes.
It looks bad.
Yeah.
It could be 100%, kosher and like on the level, but it just looks a certain way.
Yeah.
But I also love people who go, "You should never fuck anybody in the workplace." I'm like, stop it. I'm assuming I'm not even assuming. I can guess that there have been hundreds of relationships that have started the workplace that ended in marriages and successful like co-parenting.
Oh yeah, for sure.
In general. But it kills when someone goes, "That should never happen. You should never do this in the workplace." I'm like, I have fucked people at my job, both figuratively and literally, and never have had issues with things getting weird.
What
But
do
I've
you
also
what do you think about the phrase "don't shit where you eat"?
I think that I understand the concept and the phrase, but I don't necessarily subscribe to it. I've seen people where I work now who have shit where they eat and everything's been perfectly fine. It's been completely professional.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think that the problem with people are they don't think about who they're fucking. So if you go and fuck the random person who is part of the rumor mill and you're like, I can't believe that this person said that. I'm like, you can't believe that? Like they're the town crier. What do you think was gonna happen?
Yeah.
But if you also vet somebody out and you're like, okay, this is what it is, then cool. But even then, you can say one thing, but when emotions get involved, rationale gets thrown out the window.
That's exactly why I'm part of the "don't fuck people that you work with" crew. I know it happens. I get it. Like, but at the same time, emotions are gonna get involved in a place where emotions probably shouldn't get involved. Right? Like, there's a lot of times where these situations do work out, but I'm thinking about the times when it doesn't. Like, not only is your relationship at risk, but your job and livelihood's at risk as well. So, is it really worth it? And that's what I'm saying. Like, is it really worth it?
How good is the sex?
Well, I mean, you got to find out first, but I guarantee you, like I say, there's a lot more women and men and in between to choose from outside of the workplace.
I don't disagree, but my part about it is like just fuck, who cares? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I mean, yeah, I'm with that. I'm pro fucking, but we don't live in that type of society.
but no, but like I don't get why people like I think people put too much stock into, and this is me included. I think people took too much stock into sex in general when you start thinking about like the ramifications and the repercussions of what happens after. When I was in my whole phase, I was just fucking.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? I've had some good experiences. I've had some bad experiences. I've been top notch when I was putting it down. I've been subpar and below when I was putting it down. Like, you know what I mean? But like that comes with intercourse, fucking, and that's what it comes down to. I don't know if people. I was having a conversation with a buddy on Twitter, not Twitter, on Instagram about sex and how something as small as chemistry can throw off a completely amazing night. Like, you know what I mean? So if you're like,
Chemistry's pretty big.
Hmm?
Chemistry's pretty big, literally and figuratively.
Yeah. I got that big chemistry, girl.
Yeah, you already know.
So when you're having a situation, so it's like you want to make sure that both people are at least in agreement on what's going on. I've had this conversation before about someone trying to put a finger in my butt. It just kind of threw off the whole like dynamic that day. And going forward in life, like now I'm just like, yo, stay away from my butt. That's just what it is. I know people who have gotten bad head and then just like, yo, I just don't like head. Like, you know what I mean? Because like, you know, their experiences because they haven't done it right. So this is another one of the reasons why I never had a one night stand. Besides the fact of not being able to trust people, I'm not about to waste my time on bad sex because we're not compatible.
Yeah.
It's a waste of my time. It's a waste of your time, and it just doesn't necessarily mean that they'll be bad. Like I could be bad. It's just because, like, you know, my dick and her vagina isn't compatible. Like we don't. She doesn't like missionary or doggy style, and those. You know what I mean? Like shit like that.
You put a lot of thought into this.
I did. I absolutely did. I put a lot of thought into. I get bored at work when I'm done writing and reading, and I just be thinking of shit. And so this was one of the things when I was like, yo. Like people with one night stands and working relationships and fucking at work, it's like, yo, if you just a simple conversation could solve all of this.
Yeah, bro. Listen, I don't even know. I think the issue is this, right? Like for me, consent. Well, consent has been the main topic involved with all this stuff, right? Even with the Celtics coach. I don't think it was an issue before, but it went up a notch when one of the women talked about a non-consensual situation or situations, right?
Yeah.
Like that's when you start getting into the realm of predatory behavior. Even if you are ignorant that you may be doing that to somebody, without, especially nowadays, right? Like there's no excuse nowadays, right? Like even if you're not trying to be creepy, there's so many examples of people getting called out for that. You should be able to look at your behavior and go like, listen, maybe I need to check myself a little bit. So I think that's the issue at hand. And the question is, how do you gauge whether or not someone is giving you that consent in the workplace, especially if you are their boss, right? Like, is it really consent? Like Professor Xavier or whatever, right? Like, do people really agree?
Yo, you stay coming for Xavier.
Listen, are people like, if I was any telepath with the ability to influence people, right? Like, how do you know the person is agreeing with you on their own will, or are you forcing them, right? Like, and that's a sticky that's the sticky part about all this.
Yeah, it is.
It's like, and that's why like you should kind of like avoid these situations at work, because it's hard, bro. We got to be way more thoughtful about the ways we approach people nowadays, right? And not because like there's a bunch of hyper vigilant women and they're making it hard for men. No, it's because society hopefully has evolved and we know the type of shit we put each other through, and now we're trying to avoid that as a society, and we're gonna be better. So yo, you know, go to a date night, go to like a speed dating night or something, like hit up Tinder. Like there's plenty of people that want to fuck you on Tinder. Well, I don't know. I don't really know nothing about Tinder like that. And maybe nobody wants to fuck you on Tinder, but that's fine.
I don't want to fuck them people. I want to fuck the people at work.
Well, you, sir, need to calm your britches.
Yo, I don't want to fuck people on Tinder. I don't want to fuck people at the bar. I want to fuck said person A or B at work.
You got to think for you got to think for pantsuits.
You know, I actually have a buddy who does, who will remain nameless.
But yo, aggressive emails.
Yo, dog, just fuck. Have a conversation. Is this gonna get weird? Even if there's like a 1% chance you think it's gonna get weird, then don't do it. But be an adult. Like again, it's me. Like, you know what I mean? I'm gonna make jokes. I'm gonna be me. But I've never had a woman who's been in it, who's in a work situation where we fucked and it's been awkward. And usually, actually, no, 100% of the time that I've had sex with somebody at work, they pursued me.
Well, that's a whole different situation. You're the one that gave the consent.
But it goes either which way, though. It can be the same way. I can pursue them, and they can give the consent. Like, both people have to give consent.
Have you pursued them?
Huh?
Have you ever pursued anybody at work?
At work, no.
So how you know, nigga?
Because they pursued me, so it's just basically apples and oranges.
Well, not everybody could be a sexy, bald-headed guy like you.
You know what's funny? Most of the sex I've ever had has nothing to do with my looks almost every woman that I've had sex with, and this is even when I looked like a fucking Adonis and I had a 6-pack, I had the cum gutters, the whole 9 yards. It wasn't my body that did
They
it.
loved you for your brain.
Oh, they love the brain later, but but in a lot of it, but it was like the fact that like I wasn't pawning over them, like it was my personality. I wasn't necessarily smooth, but I talked a lot of shit. Like, you know what I mean? I was confident when it came to certain things. So when the situation came up, it was like, yo, let's go back to your crib.
Yeah.
Cool. Like, you know what I mean? It's shit like that. So that's the other thing about that. How creepy are you being? You know what I mean? So that's the other part of it. So you're wondering.
Well, you don't have to necessarily be creepy. I mean, you were fortunate enough that the situations there was a mutual attraction there, even if it was physical, emotional, whatever, right? But what if the person just doesn't want to fuck you and they find you disgusting, and you might not be aware of this. Maybe you have a shitty personality, right? Maybe you come to work smelling like asshole every day and cat litter, and people don't want to fuck with you, right? And then the second you go up to someone and you go like, hey, they go like, they're just repelled by you, not because of your looks, but just based on everything that you do as an individual to be as unattractive as possible. You know what I mean? Like, yes. and you might not be aware. You might not have the self-awareness to know that you got to brush your teeth every day.
So let me also just say this. I'm speaking from when you're an adult, because I've been that dude when I was a teenager, throwing it out there, just didn't know any fucking better because I'm a fucking idiot. But like as an adult, you're like you run the risk of things like that. Like it's you know, I can't believe I'm about to make the risk. It's like Temple Run.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You better make sure you're going in the right direction or you're gonna fall off a cliff.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So this is and again, like you run, and like even if, and let's take Ime Udoka out of the scenario, which we have.
The only person I know that pronounced his name right that I've talked to like this whole week.
I'm a Celtic fan. I also am a firm believer in making it an attempt to pronounce someone's name properly.
Yeah.
If I can say Dwayne Shinshith or Dirk Nowitzki, I can make an effort to pronounce someone's name right. So let's like I said, we've taken Ime out of this situation, and we're now looking at it in a much broader scale. So you have to know the type of risk you run, to your point, about hitting on somebody at work. Because one, you're in their place of business. You have to see this person anywhere between 32 or more hours a day. Or hell, you could be part-time and only see him 8 hours a week. Like, you know what I mean? Excuse me, not 40 hours a day, but 8 hours a day, however long you have to see this person all the time. So you run the risk of making a mistake and then making your job uncomfortable. Now you have HR involved because it's an unsustainable working condition.
Yeah.
So that's the other risk about that is. So when people say don't shit where you eat, it's dangerous. It is absolutely dangerous, because you could say something as, I'll give you, I got a perfect example. There was a woman that used to be a tenant in the building I used to work at. We had a really good work relationship. Like, she was cool as hell. Like, we'd have these random conversations, but it never went any further than that. We weren't social media buddies or anything, nothing. She was walking into work I'll give you two examples. And one of them could have got me, I don't know if it could have got me fired, but I'll explain. She had one of the best posteriors I have ever seen in my life. It was flawless. So we used to smile at each other, like, just like not really flirting, but just like, how you see someone, you kind of smile instead of saying hello when they're in a group setting or whatever. She walks away. And as she walks away, I turn around to look. She turns around. I don't know if she was looking at me or if she just turned around, but she caught me looking. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, fuck. But she looked me dead in the face, smiled, and then turned around. I said, oh, thank God. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing came out of it. There was no awkward moments, whatever. That could have gone bad. That could have absolutely gone bad, because she could have said, security officer Wade made me uncomfortable.
And she would be in her right to do so.
Absolutely. 100%. And at that point, I can't argue it. I made a tenant feel uncomfortable. I'm an expendable security officer. You can get somebody somewhere else.
Yeah.
And then like Odin forbid I make somebody feel uncomfortable, which is something I don't want to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'll give you another example. She came into work one day and her skirt was riding up.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a decision to make. Do I say something to her or do I let it happen?
Mm-hmm.
So she's walking towards me and I'm pulling and I'm kind of looking at her and I'm pulling at the seam of my pants. And she's looking at me and I'm looking at her like, do you not understand what I'm saying to you? So she looks down and goes, oh shit. And so she pulls like her skirt or whatever it was down. And she walks by and goes, oh, thank you so much. That would have been embarrassing if I would have gone to the office like that.
Mm-hmm.
Again, this is because I knew the relationship that I had with somebody. But even that is running a risk if our friendly relationship isn't what I thought it was.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So I made it a point, like, I wouldn't, like, you know what I mean? Like, if she was going out for, like, lunch, she's like, oh, don't want to grab you anything? Nah, I'm cool. Thank you, though. Like, you know what I mean? You don't want to get too familiar with people.
Yeah.
But again, but I'm also, at this point, I'm with my wife, who's now my wife. I wasn't really flirting with her or anything like that. But again, things can go wrong depending on the situation.
Yeah. No, seriously. And I think that brings me back to my original view on this is, just don't fuck anybody at work.
And I know Valkyrie's against that. She was just like, don't shit where you eat. And like, she's a proud, like, she'll shout that from the heavens, like, don't do it. I'm married. I've said this a million times on the show. I know. Say it ain't so. And so the hospital life is like, people just be fucking. It's a reality TV show, the way people be swapping like fluids and partners and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad I'm not single in this place. Because, I'd be fucking. Oh, let me tell you.
So you're glad that you're married. Wait.
Oh,
I would
absolutely. I'm glad I'm married and I'm not single in a hospital, because I would literally be the hospital jump off.
Oh, and you'd be tied up in all the drama.
Oh no, I would be the drama. It would be one of those like, did you know Mark be fucking? Like, oh yeah, I fucked him too. Like, you know what I mean? That kind of shit.
Oh, it's one of those. Oh, you feeling yourself right now, oh man. Okay, I see you, old man. Okay then, bro. Okay then. Okay.
I'm not necessarily like I'm not a sea bass or a salmon catch, like, you know what I mean? But I could be a little catfish.
I don't think that's the term you want.
I didn't even think about that, but whatever. I'm a little catfish. Oh shit, man. So yeah, you got anything else on that?
Yeah, don't fuck where you work. Next topic.
Nope.
Literally nope.
Yeah, literally nope.
Yeah.
So okay.
You didn't like the movie, oh man.
I did not like Nope. I was incredibly disappointed. I was like, this was not the scariest part of the movie. Wasn't even the alien. I was not impressed.
Yeah.
It didn't move me at all, and I was upset that I spent $20 to rent it.
Damn, $20 to rent it.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ.
You know that Amazon early release shit.
Oh, well, you should have went to the theater when I told you to. It got cheaper. I probably got a few because I get 2 free tickets a week.
Yeah, but then I would have still had to pay gas, and I would have had to waste time, and I'd have been mad if I left the house.
What kind of car you drive to pay gas?
I'd have been mad if I spent. You want me to leave the house to go see that shit? No. Hold on. You want me to leave the house to go see that? Nope.
Nope. I love that movie, bro. It was so good, in my opinion, and for multiple reasons. Like scary movies don't have to be like jump scares, right? Like it's about that build up. It could be about that build up, and that movie to me was like all about the build up and the suspense.
Yeah, but that's not a horror movie. That's a suspense thriller. This is supposed to be a horror movie.
No, but I mean, that is horror in a lot of ways. There was a monster at the end of the day, right? That makes it horror. There was scary elements to it, but it wasn't like. I think ever since like the Blair Witch Project and all these other movies, people expect like just every 2 seconds jumping out of your seat, right?
Yeah.
When sometimes it's really about that edge of your seat experience as well. And I think also the fact that there wasn't a real mystery surrounding what was like we saw the creature immediately in one way, in one form or another.
Oh God.
And I think
Don't get me started on fucking that thing, the alien being a parachute at the end.
no, but I mean from a scientific, and again, I was looking like it for me that made sense, but we could go about that later. But I'm just saying like I feel in the age of social media and the fact that everybody is exposed to everything all at once, like I think it really fit into the general like feeling of today's society. Like it was just good, man. I was really, and not to mention the cinematography, like
God.
it was friggin'
Fucking
dope.
Harvey Scorsese.
All right, whatever. It was
Cinema.
fire, bro. It was fire. It was fire. The multiple threads, like I really
Explain it. The multiple threads. Explain that to me, please.
so you had the I forgot his name, the Asian character, right? Like you kind of start building
Mark Grayson, go on.
yeah, you start building his story and like without it really like it's all the subtext, you kind of understand why he would want to tame that creature, right? And you can kind of see the trauma in him. And then OJ, right? Like I love that portrayal of that character. So little words, but so much said, in my opinion. Uh uh you know, you could kind of see the weight of all of his obligations that he put on himself in his face, in his actions, right? His sister, she's freaking awesome and everything she's in.
So let me
She's
just say
knocking
this.
out the park, bro.
Kiki Palmer,
Keke Palmer, yes,
and fucking tastic.
she was.
I've and not even just. Let me just all put this out there.
Yeah.
So someone made a fan casting of her being Rogue. Make it happen, Marvel.
Yeah, she's up. She needs to be in the MCU.
She needs to be in the MCU in some way, shape, or form. I think
I love her.
I think she'd be fantastic as Rogue, and she's all for it. But so I don't think I had no issue with Kiki Palmer in that movie.
Yeah,
I
just loved it.
I am highly disappointed in Danielle Kaluuya. That was probably the worst acting I've ever seen him do. I was just like, wow, like this was awful. I thought he was absolutely dreadful.
Oh wow. Tell him how you feel. Tell him how you really.
I was disappointed because I'm like, yo, you're better than this. Like he is much better than this. And I watched it and I was just like, if you're taking me somewhere, please let me know where it is because I want to get off and go somewhere else.
But that's the thing. The movie didn't hold your hand. It didn't hold your hand through the plot. It gave you it kind of unfurled in front of you, and there was a lot happening, and it was really up to you to not create your own narrative, but to kind of piece these things together. It was like a puzzle. There was Easter eggs. There was all types of stuff happening.
Okay, so yeah, so I pieced the puzzle, and the puzzle was a piece of shit.
You clearly did. Well, you know what? You know what's interesting because it's funny because me and old man have like we're totally different when it comes to this.
Oh, absolutely.
This type of stuff. Like I'm kind of like, all right, you liked it, you didn't like it, whatever, right? And then old man's kind of like, how the hell did you like this movie?
This is why the dynamic works so well, because we literally just it's not even like a debate. It's just like Javi's like, oh, that's cool. Like I'm like, oh, you didn't have to like it. And me, how the fuck you like? How you like this?
I want my money back. You owe me $20.
Javi, you owe me money even though you didn't give me money to go see it.
Nah, man.
I did not like that movie.
I literally say nope a bunch of times during that movie. Me and my wife both was like, nope. Like it was so like it.
Oh
it
yeah,
so
absolutely.
Black. It was black at the same time. Like it just felt so black. That's another thing I liked about it.
Oh yes, it's fucking Keenan Peele. Like he's gonna make sure that like
Key and Peele, they both worked on it together.
I didn't realize I did it like that. So like that, but Keegan Michael Peele.
Jordan Peele.
Is it Jordan Peele?
Yes.
Did I mix their names up again?
I don't know what you just said.
Well, whatever. But I was not happy with this movie.
Yeah.
I spent $20. I was not happy about it. I understand everything you're saying. If someone was like, "Oh, should we watch this?" I'm gonna be like, "Nope."
Mm.
I thought the commercials with Steph Curry were better than this movie.
Oh wow. No, I mean, I wouldn't. I would never tell anybody not to see a movie, bro. Just because somebody you know doesn't like it or whatever, it doesn't mean anything. Go watch whatever you want to watch.
Oh, I agree 100%. But I'm gonna talk a gang of shit.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, I'm trying to think. For example, I love Finding Forrester. Love that movie. Absolutely,
Yeah.
it's one of my 3 favorite movies of all time.
Yeah.
Is it a great movie? Not really. But it speaks to me, so I understand why I like it, why it stays in my top 5, no matter how many times I see it, no matter how bad Busta Rhymes is when he's acting in that. But
Yeah. I love when movies have the old white guy saving the black dude. I'll message.
You're the man now, dog.
David him from the miseducation.
Actually, the lead character Jamal saved him. So
yeah, you're right.
shut your fuck.
I'm messing with you. I'm messing with you. I like the movie too.
So shut your fucking mouth.
I liked it. I mean, I liked it.
So, but let's talk about something we both enjoyed. Sandman.
Yeah, man. Sandman was fun.
Sandman made me very happy.
Yeah.
Just me and Super Hobby, we're comic book guys, and you can find out all about that and more on the Ball Black Nerds podcast.
Yeah.
But this was a particular project that we both were concerned about, I want to say. Because 1, it's got the DC label on it.
Yeah.
2, it's got the Netflix.
It kind of has a DC
kind of
on it. Yeah.
2, it's got the Netflix label on it, and they just, I don't know what the fuck Netflix does when it comes to like their.
Yeah, it's like roulette. It's like this show is gonna be great or this show is gonna be garbage.
Yep.
And you never know which one is gonna be.
Like Jupiter Ascending, that was a giant piece of shit.
You know, I ended up watching that whole thing, and it came together.
But I thought it was super obvious. I was like, "Oh, I see where this is going." Mm-hmm. Like you know where everything is going before like the first episode ends. You're like, "Oh, okay, this is gonna happen. Cool." That show did so bad that they canceled every project about that going forward.
It was supposed to be a universe. What? Well, we'll get to the Sandman. So
Sandman was dope. Yeah. Sandman is about one of the what exactly are they called? But
for what do you call them? Not the forever.
So we'll put it to you like this: Sandman has siblings, and they all start with D's. There's Dream, who is Morpheus, the lead character; Despair, Desire, Death, Destruction, Delirium, and Destiny. The Endless.
The Endless, yes, that's what it is. They represent concepts of humanity that surpass time and.
Yes.
Yeah.
And eventually Morpheus was captured. They were trying to capture Death. They ended up getting Sandman, which is very much what happened in the comic book. And it was super dope that they made it a point to really do this as well as they did, considering that this could have been an absolute fucking flop because Sandman is a lot of talking.
Yeah, and Neil Gaiman seemed pretty excited about it. I think that's why I wasn't too I was like, you know what? I'll give it a chance. Like everybody involved seemed to have positive vibes around it. I didn't really hear any issues with production, like things didn't really come out on that. So when production like that seemingly as goes as seemingly well as this seemed to go, I was fairly confident that I would enjoy it.
Yes, absolutely. And I have. You'll rarely hear me say this, but I had zero complaints about it, period.
Yeah.
From start to finish, I loved every single moment of it. I love the slow build up to it because it was very much like the comic book series.
Mm-hmm.
It got I don't want to say it was talky because it's not very talky, but it was definitely in depth when it came to what we're talking. Like the episode with Death and Dream was probably my favorite episode of the season because they really got into what their jobs are and how, as powerful as they are, they're servants of the mortals. And I thought that was a really dope way of putting yourself as a god.
Not just I don't even think not even servants of mortals. They only exist because mortals exist.
Well, I'm just going by on the words that they like that Death said. Like,
Yeah,
he called them like servants of it.
yeah.
So we had the Corinthian. Oh my god.
Yeah, they pulled that off really well. That was great. That was great. Like I was like, how are they gonna do that? And they pulled it off really well. Like the changes that they did make were awesome.
Mm-hmm. I was wondering how many people were pissed off that Joan Constantine was in this.
I didn't hear too many. I don't pay attention to that, to be honest with you. Like people always come to me and be like, "Oh, can you believe that they hate a female Lucifer?" I would be like, I believe it because the internet is garbage for the most part.
Yeah.
But two, like I don't pay attention, bro. I'm not on Twitter like that.
Sure.
I'm not, I know mostly everybody on my Facebook that I'm friends with, and I use Instagram mainly for my business. So it's kind of like I don't pay attention to any of that shit. So I don't know. Like she was great. Like that version of Constantine's awesome.
Yeah, you get no argument from me.
Because I kind of double take. I'm like, they said Constantine, and I was like, wait, did they just say who that? What? Rewinded a couple times. I was like, oh, they going there. Oh, all right. I like this.
I'm trying to figure out who played Desire because I was trying to figure out who it was. So Mason Alexander Park played Desire. I'm trying to figure out who I had them cast for in Marvel, but it was someone. Oh, Thanos' brother,
Star Fox.
He would have been. They would have been a perfect Star Fox.
Yeah.
Like everything about Desire screams Star Fox to me, especially if you're reading AXE Judgment Day.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, I highly recommend Sandman. I think I really do feel that if you
love the new character design of Star Fox, by the way, just as a tangent. But go ahead.
Yeah, no. Yeah, well, add that to the list for tomorrow's show.
Yeah.
But the acting, I think, and this is something I think Super Woke was shocked when I said this is the best acting I've seen in the comic book show ever.
Comic book show?
Yes. Because if I'm going movie, I will probably always lean towards Sin City or V for Vendetta being like the best acted movie from top to bottom. Yeah. But in terms of a show, I don't know if I've ever seen the acting done this well.
We got some good ones. I mean, we have The Boys. The Boys are crazy.
Yes.
Watchmen was nuts.
Absolutely.
Like there's been a couple. We've been spoiled, I think.
But I think you hit it right in the head. We're a bit spoiled with, especially over the last 5 years. I'm not even gonna go 10 years. The last 5 years. Like shit, She-Hulk's been flawless so far. I know people.
It's been fucking great.
You know what's funny? As I love people who are talking about like, oh, it's getting review bombed, and it's like it's so bad. And look at the ratings. Then I just happen to look up.
What ratings are you looking?
Yeah, exactly.
What ratings are you looking at?
It is consistently in the top 10 of streaming shows every week.
Yeah.
That's not something that's easily done week after week.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, incels. She-Hulk was good. Deal with it. People are still watching it.
No, that's a She-Hulk. I'm that dude that's in love with She-Hulk.
Yeah.
I'm that guy. Snoo.
Death by Snoo. Yo, we did a whole episode on this called Death by She-Hulk Snoo.
I would have felt just like him. I would have woke up. I would have went to bed with She-Hulk, and I would have freaking woke up with this average person who's, there's nothing wrong with her, but she ain't She-Hulk.
It's funny. I lean toward Jennifer Walters more than I do She-Hulk. Just in this,
bro.
It's only in this situation. I don't know. Like she's so cute and quirky, and
she's awesome, but she ain't She-Hulk.
No. Like, I'm gonna say this. I hope I don't get canceled for this. You just want to go to Pound Town.
Yo, all day, bro. I want to get picked. I want to get picked up like a little baby.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. We talked about this on the last episode. Yeah, pick me up and throw me around, like, you know what I mean.
Yo,
but
if you can find the woman that could pick you up like a little baby, yo, I don't know.
You do realize my wife picks up people for a living, right?
She ain't picking you up like a little baby.
You say that.
All right.
You say that.
I say that.
Cradle me.
I put $200 down, bro. She ain't picking you up like a little baby.
All right,
And
wait. All right, you about to lose
around.
$200.
All right.
I just can't wait till we're all hanging out, and I'm like, "Hey, babe, cradle me."
I'll shoot. Let me see that.
Oh God, yeah. But Sandman was my shit. All the antagonists, because it wasn't just one antagonist. All the antagonists in the show were great.
Yes. Friggin' the Corinthian. Who's the guy that had the uh dreams gem?
I'm looking them up now.
Gentleman.
Roderick Burgess.
Yeah. It like everything.
Oh my
was
God. No, I take it back. The
super-
best episode might have been the one in the diner.
Yo, that one. It was great, but I don't think I could ever rewatch that up. It was just too much. Like in a good way, but also in a bad way. Like that was an intense episode.
It was.
Like it's like, yo, what, like honestly, that's what would happen in a world where everybody would be forced to tell lies, or everybody would be forced to tell what's on their mind. Because it wasn't even forcing people to tell the truth. It was literally forcing people to just tell you and act out whatever they had on their minds. And that's
It's funny. It's funny because that was, I think, my debate with Just Greg, and I can't wait to have this conversation on the podcast about this. And I hope you can do this with us as well. Well, when you're talking about the things like you should and shouldn't say, sometimes they just shouldn't be said. Like the uncomfortable truths sometimes need to be hidden, because, and I hate to break it to people, every relationship has secrets. Friend, romantic, otherwise, every relationship has secrets. That's just the name of the game.
The thing is, I wanna at least. So for me, it's not even about the secret. So yeah, definitely, you have things secrets or whatever it may be, right? But I don't think you have to lie. I don't think it really means lying, right? Like or not telling the truth. Especially in this context, it's like we all have a subconscious, right? We all have these thoughts in our heads, right? We all have these desires and flaws and all, like imagine, like you could see somebody cuts you off in traffic, and for a split second, you'd be like, I hope that person gets into a car accident, right?
Yeah.
There's a difference between having that thought for 2 seconds and obsessing on that thought to the point where you cause that person to have a car accident.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, or in a relationship and you see an attractive woman and you're like, yo, she's dope. And for a split second, you fantasize about her. Split, not even, you know what I'm saying? There's a difference between doing that and obsessing over that to the point where you actually have sex with that person.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So it's not even about keeping secrets or whatever. It's about giving yourself the opportunity to make the right decision with the thoughts that pop into your head.
I agree. You're gonna get no debate from me here. I agree with everything you just said 1,000%. And one of the reasons I loved it so much is like, it's that particular episode. I love that they didn't go, this whole thing was like, oh, we're gonna go back in time and we're gonna change that. It's like, no, that happened. We're just gonna have to deal with it. And that's just the way it is. I thought that was cool because I was like, okay, so how are they gonna fix this? They didn't fix shit. That's just life now.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that I really loved about this, was like there were actual real life, I shouldn't say real life, but there were real life
consequences. Persistent. You know, my favorite episode was the Immortal.
Oh my God.
I love that episode.
But I think for me, I don't want to put that one on there specifically because I had a particular emotional investment into that, because that was my favorite issue of Sandman in general.
Yeah.
And I was talking to Valkyrie about this, and I was like, they really did put their foot into this episode.
Yeah.
And I couldn't remember when it happened in the comic book,
yeah.
but I was like, oh shit, they're doing this now. I was super excited.
Yeah.
Like you were right, that Immortal episode was something else, man. Like
yeah. And it's interesting because I think a lot of fiction, a lot of people take the approach that, like, why would you want to live forever, right? Like eventually life, the pain in life and losing people is going to depress you to the point where you're gonna want to die. And for me, it's I don't think that would happen. Like that's just part of life. Pain and suffering is part of life, but there's also an infinite amount of joy and happiness that you could spread, like legacy, like if you can live forever. And that's the approach. Like Dream had a bet with death that this guy's gonna want to die eventually because life sucks. And then this dude, no matter how he had crazy success, and he had the lowest of lows, period,
Yo,
he could ever have.
that
And
was one of my favorite
yeah,
parts about it.
yeah,
When he was just like, "Oh, so you want to die?" And he was like, "Are you kidding me?"
yeah.
He was like, "No, I can't wait to live
Oh,
the rest of my life."
yeah, everything is an adventure, bro. Like,
I really
loved it.
appreciated the shit out of that, and
Yeah.
I think it made me want to. There's a lot of talk about how, like, when you see a specific show or genre or however it goes, and it's like, oh, I wish, like, they would change the. I wish they wouldn't have changed certain things. I know with Stephen King is a good example of this. How people get upset with how he does a lot of his the recreations of his projects.
Mhm.
But with Sandman, I was excited. The more things happened, the more excited I got to see what was coming next, what was
Yeah.
going to happen. Like I was when the whole thing with the Immortal, I was like, oh my god, this is so cool. And I couldn't remember if he owned a bar in the comic, but all I kept saying to myself was like, this makes so much sense for someone like him to run a bar because like you never really have like he will forever be anonymous. Like it's just some dude who owns a bar
Mhm.
like you in like a event he could be like, oh, I'm the son of blah 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 blah. But it was so cool seeing all that. And then the best part about it was the last little bit of the episode when he had to finally admit that he was his friend.
Yeah. Yeah. He wore him down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like he created that relationship. It was almost like when you meet somebody, when you have consistent, even if it's once a year, right? If you have that consistent conversation with somebody and you see them grow, like Dream saw this guy grow, right? Multiple lifetimes. And this guy saw who Dream really was. And you can't help but like the fact that that friendship happened is like that's a very out of a lot of like depressing stories in Sandman, like that had to be one of the most like heartwarming and episodes.
I'll go even further to say I think it was one of the most heartwarming episodes that I've seen in any comic book because it
Yeah,
was
that was really good. That was a really good one.
yeah. But we were talking about that. I also want to get into Gwendolyn Christie as Lucifer.
Yeah, I know you loved her as
She
Lucifer.
was. I loved her in Game of Thrones, and I
Yeah.
kept looking at her, going, "Where do I know her from?" And
Oh
and
shit!
And
Yes.
Valkyrie was like, "Oh, that's such and such from Game of Thrones." I was like, "Holy shit, that's why!" Like, and I
Yeah,
was so fucking happy that.
I'm that dude from the north with the red beard when it comes
Oh
to.
yeah, Termin is my spirit animal
Yo, facts. She's such a beautiful woman.
for real. And I
Such a
remember,
beautiful.
I remember someone told us like, "Oh, they," because I didn't know who was playing Lucifer, but I was on Twitter and someone was like, "Oh, Netflix." Not Netflix. It was like they're two. Whoever it was like, "Oh, comic books are 2 for 2 with getting attractive people to play Lucifer." And I was like, who the fuck is playing Lucifer now? And I didn't really like look into it or whatever. I just like, I watch Sandman when I see it. And then when I saw it, I was like, yo, this was perfect. This
Mhm.
was absolutely perfect. I have no complaints about it at all. And then on top of her being a good looking woman, she killed as Lucifer.
Mhm.
Their battle,
Was awesome. Like that, like and that's another thing I liked about. I know we gotta go. We probably got like a minute left. Uh, but the fact the endless the way they sit in the DC universe in general, they're beyond anything. They're beyond Superman. They're beyond every superhero, and they work and they live in a different plane of existence, and the decisions and stuff they do affect universes. That's the way people with that power should battle. Like they turned into bacteria, everything from a piece of bacteria to a whole freaking universe. Like that joint was crazy.
and he was like, hope. And I was like, ooh.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, and I'm like, she probably had a way to battle it. Problem is, you can't give hope in her position. She can't give people hope.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, this is so fucking good, man. Like, I loved it. Like I absolutely recommend Sandman. Javi recommends Nope. I don't unrecommend it, but like go see it, go watch it. Maybe you'll love it, and you can tweet me at oldmanwade.com and go, "You're out of your fucking mind," and this was a great movie, and I'll go, "Cool."
Or you will agree and be like Super Bowl's on crack.
No, I'm just gonna go cool because I'm not debating with people. I'm not doing it. I don't care enough. I do not care.
You debate with me though.
Oh, all day. All day,
Word.
every day. Even on the show, off the show, I will debate with you all the fucking time. Like,
Word.
yeah, like you ain't never gonna worry about that. I'm always gonna be like, what the fuck are you talking about, Avi?
Awesome. That's all I want to hear. That's all I want to hear.
Oh man. So what so any final thoughts on anything? You got any anything you want to promote before we go?
Not really. I mean, I'm not really a promoter type of guy. Check me. You know what? Check out Be Rebel Media, BEREBL Media on Instagram. We're doing
Yeah, you can find my stinking ass at oldmanwade.com on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. It's oldmanwade.com. I think that's all I got. I'm still doing the random comic book trivia, which has been super fun. I can't wait to actually have them all loaded up so I can play a game with people online. That'll be coming soon. But that's all I got. And it's funny because while me and Super were talking, we were like, "There's no way in hell we get to all this shit." And I'm like, "Yeah,
you know it." Yo,
I didn't expect
go
to
through like one. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say I didn't expect us to talk about interwork relationships as long as we did, though. But yeah. But shit, fuck it. That's the old man way. So this is what we do.
We do 1% of the docket.
Oh, for real. But
it's funny because you put so much work on it, and then I come in and put in notes just so we can do 1% of the docket.
Yo, but it works though, man. But it be like that because sometimes, like, if the flow is going, I'm not gonna end the topic just because, like, we got shit in the docket. Like, we got the important shit.
Yeah, videos coming soon for sure, yo. I'm gonna get you some lights.
This shit's gonna be fucking fire.
Yeah, facts. It looks good. It looks good.
Oh man. Don't forget to check out Bald Black Nerds podcast, Spotify, Apple. We're on a bunch of other random ones as well, but don't forget you can find us on there. Myself, Brandon Orton, and Super Woke Javi, who's also what was it? We Was Dragons.
We Was Dragons. That's Brandon's. Brandon and I don't remember her name, but they have a pretty good podcast on House of Dragons.
And also, not to forget, remember, Brandon also does the Why So Serious podcast. Charmaine will be back on soon because I was talking to her recently.
That's my baby.
And I was talking to Charmaine, and she was like, "Yeah, I need to come back on the show so we just talk about butt stuff."
Yo, she's definitely gonna appreciate my stance on butt stuff. I'm very pro butt stuff.
Well, you've always been pro butt stuff. You're pro anything as long as it's not hurting anybody.
Yo, facts. As long as everybody's down and consentful, like, listen, my only thing is, I'm into women. That's it. But if you're into whatever else, yo, do you, man? Just have fun while you're doing it. And don't judge anybody.
Yo, consent is key. Just consent, man. If someone says no, then just fucking go with it, man.
Exactly.
As always, be excellent to each other. Peace.
Damn it, Wade!